All right, folks, Chuck Suter, constitutionalwar.org, and I'm here with Mike Church. And what are you here for in my great state of North Carolina, and what were you speaking about?
Nullification. Nullification and interposition.
Very good. And how does that work? And the group that we're speaking at today was Nullify Now.
Right.
Tom Woods is here. Greg Brannon speaking. What was your thoughts of Greg Brannon, and have you got to know him? What is your opinion on that Senate race?
Well, Senator Hagan is certainly in need of a good challenge, I think, and comes from a great line of very confused election results from North Carolina. It's almost as though the Tar Heel state can't make its mind up if it wants to go red or really blue. I believe it to be a very solid red state, if you can use the vulgar terminology. Greg, I think, is going to be a great candidate. I mean, there's two things in the political process that I have learned over my years of experience in talk radio and talking to lots of candidates. And one is that there are guys that are really good speakers and they sound really good, and they're not good campaigners. So you have to be a good campaigner, and what I mean by good campaigners, you have to be good enough with people to raise boatloads of money. It's just sad fact of our times. Public initiative is not enough. You got to have people that have lots of money, or you have to raise lots of money. And I don't know how Greg's fundraising is going, but I do know that he has the personality to be he is a good candidate. And yes, I have spoken with him. He and I share correspondence regular. I believe him to be a very solid, what I call a little R Republican, and yeah, you could say conservative. I think he's going to be a good candidate. I think it's going to, if she agrees, if he is the ultimate challenger, and I hope that he is, and she has to debate him, I think that this is going to be a very exciting debate, a great race to watch. I'm excited about it.
Oh, absolutely. I think it'll be quite interesting. And, the state does go red and back and forth between red and blue. Let's just hope it doesn't go communist red. And that's what we really worry about here. And but, all joking aside, the issue of nullification at the state level, our Speaker of the House has said they've pretty much nullified the Obamacare at the state level because they didn't enter federal exchanges. Would that be an accurate statement to say that our state has completely nullified Obamacare, or is there something that additionally could be done, and what would that be?
Well, gosh, it's such a complex law. One part of it is the exchange. And, well, look at what the alternative is to the exchange. If you don't have an exchange, then you have what? You have the federal government and Kathleen Sebelius from the Health and Human Services Department running your exchange for you.
Yeah.
So you really haven't stopped anyone in the state from registering for Obamacare. So there's two questions here. One, does North Carolina, by legislative dictate, want to prevent any North Carolinian from signing up? That's question one. Or is it trying to prevent or trying to protect a majority of its citizens from not being compelled to sign up? So, to nullify it, I would say would be the latter and not the former. So how are you then going to protect that majority of citizens from being compelled to either enter the exchange, have insurance, or if you, heaven forbid, decide to do neither, then pay the fine? So to me, a nullification would say this law is void and of no effect, which is what nullification says in the Jeffersonian sense of the word, and then you would act legislatively and proactively to protect your citizenry from it. But make no mistake about it, in order to affect change or to affect the nullification, and we did not talk about this here today, perhaps maybe next time, in order to make it so that it sticks, you have to have, one, the legislature has to be with it, you've got to pass it. Two, the executive has to agree to enforce it. Three, the courts have to be forbidden from colluding with the federal government to undo what the state and the governor have agreed to do. So you have to have all three of those. So your three branches of government have all got to be in harmony on this for an effective nullification.
So we would, in North Carolina, you're pretty much saying we would need a Republican General Assembly, a Republican governor, and a Republican Supreme Court.
Well, let's just say that that you didn't have. Let's leave parties out of it. Let's just say that the legislature voted for the act, passed it affirmatively to the governor, and the governor signed it. The only recourse that the state court would seemingly have was, did the act that they just passed violate the North Carolina Constitution? And if it does not, well then it doesn't matter what party they're with. They have no choice but to defend the Constitution of the state of North Carolina. So that's how, of course, you'd have to construct your nullification so that it is in harmony with North Carolina's Constitution, and that's the process. So party wouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter in this. I know it probably will come up, and people will say that it matters, but in the actual legal scheme of things, it should not matter. It should be irrelevant what party the judge or the legislator or the governor are from.
So for layman's term, or those of you listening in Rio Linda, you would say that if our Republican-controlled General Assembly,
Sure.
our Republican governor,
Right.
and our Republican Supreme Court
Okay?
all said, you know what, nullification is passed in our state, and that is what we are moving forward with nullification in our state. Obamacare would not have teeth in our state of North Carolina.
Well, it would not have teeth for as long as until the extortion begins. And the extortion is going to come in the form of, oh yeah, well guess what? We're going to withhold all the Medicaid money we're supposed to send you. Oh yeah, well guess what? We're going to withhold all your highway grant funds, all your matching CDGBs, community development block grants. We're going to withhold all of these little cookies, these carrots that they hold out in front of the legislators. So could it work? Conceivably, yes. But ideally, what you would want to do is you want to nullify it, or interpose, choose your word. And then after you've nullified it, you would want to then serve 49 other states copies of your act and ask them to do similar. And then however many of those states then do that, then you would take that and we would send that to the Congress and say, you got 28 states on board to get rid of this. There's going to be 8 more. Your dream is over. Repeal the law. So a nullification should be designed so that it undoes the damage that has been done to the Constitution.
Well, now what about a nullification in the sense of the Real ID Act? I mean, is that not a de facto?
Well, it's killed.
Yeah, so it's a de
facto.
It's a de facto nullification.
They're not trying to enforce it.
Exactly.
Although the Obama administration is trying to bring it back in some form.
But we have had temporary reprieve from
We
that.
have.
And I think that is what most of us would like to get with nullification. Real quick, please give out some websites. How can people listen to you, follow you? I mean, lots of great work. I'm looking at your table over here. Your radio show is incredible.
Thank you.
Plug us into the Mike Church
Well, you can listen to me
universe.
every day of the week, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern on the SiriusXM Patriot Channel 125. You can find me on the internet, MikeChurch.com, on the Twitter feed, The King Dude, on Facebook, Mike Church Show fan page. All my works, books, DVDs, audio documentaries, all those works are online on my website at MikeChurch.com or at Amazon.com.
Excellent, man. Well, we're glad to have you here in North
Thank
Carolina. Safe travels back home, and let's nullify some laws out there, folks. We got good guys out here. Bring nullification to your state, because the knowledge that Tom Woods and Mike and others can bring to your legislators might actually make a difference. Thank you again.
You're
sir.
welcome.